Today we spoke with Jean Bush of the Massachusetts Head Injury Association in Waltham, Mass. We asked Jean several questions about her association and the work that they do.
I'm Jean Bush, and I'm president of the Massachusetts Head Injury Association, an organization founded in 1982 by families and professionals who treat head-injured people, as well as persons who suffered head injuries themselves. We formed because there were no services for people with head injuries. And we formed together because we knew that together we could build a coalition of consumers and providers.
What is the leading cause of head injuries?
Sadly, the leading cause of head injuries is that old bad guy, the automobile. Over 52% of the severe head injuries in the United States are incurred as a result of a motor vehicle accident. And sadly, too, most of these accidents happen to the young, to people between the ages of 16 and 27. They generally are not quite out of the home, and so that their families, their fiancés, their parents, their girlfriends, get very involved in trying to help them, these young people, put their lives back together. Other people suffer head injuries too, older people, but most often it happens to them in falls and other kinds of accidents. There are violence-related accidents, gunshot wounds, the most famous of which is the press secretary, Jim Brady. There are child abuse, head injury accidents, and so on and so forth. But primarily, the number one cause is motor vehicle accidents, and sadly, most of those injuries, or the severity of those injuries, are preventable simply by one act. It's called buckle up. The percentage of people who suffer a severe head injury who can return to an uninterrupted, normal life, one in which they can accomplish all the goals that they had before the accident, is probably zero. A severe head injury will generally change your vocational potential. It will change your family relationships. It will change your relationships with your friends. It will change the amount of money you're able to earn. And it will change, perhaps, the kind of house you get to live in, whether it has to be wheelchair accessible or not. All of those things are going to change with a severe head injury.
What are some of the basic needs of head-injured patients and their families, just like a typical?
The needs vary over time. In the initial phases, the person who suffers a severe head injury or even a moderate head injury probably is experiencing a period of coma. The coma period may last from 2 hours up to 90 days, 6 months to a year. Some people never really, quote, come out of coma and are hospitalized for the rest of their life. The needs of those people are acute medical needs. They need, at that point, to be in a hospital. The return to home oftentimes is not the best place for them to go. And that's when our healthcare delivery system breaks down. We do not have a choice or a plethora of what we call community-based or transitional programs or services for people with head injuries in Massachusetts. There aren't enough transitional living programs, and those that are out there are available only to people whose insurance companies will continue to pay for them because they're expensive. The average cost of a person for a year who is severely head injured in Massachusetts as well as across the country is somewhere between $60,000 in a very low-cost community program, $60,000 a year, or on up to $150,000 to $225,000 a year.
We asked Jean if there's anything she'd like to say to the community regarding the upcoming prom and graduation weeks.
I guess I can only talk from the heart on that. And the statistics, let me just say to the students of Lincoln-Sudbury that I'm a mom and, you know, people don't like to listen to moms. But y'all know that your parents worry about you. Your parents know it's just a whole lot more fun not to worry about tomorrow right now. That you're finishing up your senior year, or you're finishing up your junior year, and all you can think about is just kind of relaxing and having some fun. I can also tell you that most of the automobile accidents in Massachusetts occur as a result of having fun, sometimes and very often with drugs or alcohol. Sometimes it doesn't just happen to kids, it happens to adults. We're just as guilty, very often, of abusing drugs and alcohol. Sometimes we're the ones that hit cars full of kids. The kids haven't been drinking or using any drugs. We're all in it together. Parents, kids, the police, all of us. We are a community of people that has responsibility for each other. So I ask you, before you get in a car, think about, is it a designated driver? Is this sensible? Why not call home and say, hey, I just need to be picked up? One of the most important things is, if you'd make the decision to get in the car, buckle up. It's not going to ruin your prom dress irrevocably. It's not going to mush your suit. It's not going to keep you from getting out of the car if the car crashes. A Michigan cop once said, I have never pulled a dead person out from behind a fastened seatbelt in a car that wrecked. We know, all of us together, you've had it hammered at you. We family have had it hammered at us, that the only cure for head injury is prevention. And we want you, young people, to become all you can be. If you'd suffer a head injury, we also want you to become all you can be, and that's what the Mass Head Injury Association is all about. But we feel very, very strongly that there are ways to prevent head injury that aren't so difficult and aren't so inhibiting.
For feedback, I'm Gabrielle Tiep-Daniels.
That's it for feedback this week. Tune in next week and we'll have more stories from around the Sudbury area. For the feedback, Francesca Verri.
And I'm Sarah Harding.
Good night.